So the 10th richest man in the world just announced that he's going to be selling $2.9 billion of stock this year. And this comes at the exact same time that he cannot stop tweeting about Bitcoin. So is Michael Dell, Mr. 100, is Michael Dell going to make a move into Bitcoin? That's what we're going to be exploring today, because since we last talked about Michael Dell, he's still talking about Bitcoin. It looks like there's been an evolution in his Bitcoin educational story, though, which is very interesting. And we can also see that he's now selling a ton of stock. Okay, so let's start breaking down what is going on with Dell. So this article caught my attention. Michael Dell plans record $2.9 billion of share sales this year. That's massive. This is super, super big, okay? Now, what's interesting again about this is because yesterday, Michael Dell once again ran another poll. But as we can see, he looks to have maybe changed his message a little bit, because he put in this poll, the most important thing is AI, Bitcoin, love and relationships, or none of the above. We can see the Bitcoin actually won, which again is very interesting, because Michael Dell's audience would mostly just be technology guys, okay? There's not a ton of Bitcoiners that are following Michael Dell, okay? I believe he has millions of followers. Let's actually check that for you guys. You can see just how many followers Michael Dell has, okay? Oh, okay, 750,000 followers. Now, let me tell you, there's not 730,000 Bitcoiners on Twitter. So I can guarantee you that, the Bitcoiners haven't been able to skew that poll in a significant way. I don't think so. But what I'm more interested about is the evolution in Michael Dell's language, okay? We can see that Bitcoin won this poll, which again is very, very interesting. But what else is interesting is he ran a poll on June 21st, so a week ago. And he said, what do you think will be the next big breakthrough in tech? Please vote and share your thoughts. Quantum computing, AI, blockchain, or space tech, okay? So again, where's the shift in Michael Dell's opinions and thoughts here? I actually commented on this one and I said, Bitcoin, not blockchain. A blockchain is utterly useless unless it's decentralized and immutable, okay? Which again is interesting. I think this is the framing we should be aware of, but it looks as if maybe Michael Dell has figured that out for himself, okay? Because in his new poll this week, he didn't say blockchain. He said Bitcoin, okay? So for those who might have missed the Michael Dell story, I'm going to quickly bring you up to speed. We're not going to spend a lot of time on it, but Michael Dell popped into the Bitcoin stratosphere on June 20th when he tweeted this: scarcity creates value. And Michael Saylor commented underneath and he said, Bitcoin is digital scarcity. Now, this is interesting because literally an hour later, Michael Dell actually retweeted Saylor's comment where he said, Bitcoin is digital scarcity. You can see it on his Twitter profile, on his timeline right here. And then it was literally a couple of days, it was the next day, he put out this poll about blockchain. And then on the same day, he put out this Bitcoin meme with the cookie monster. And again, so this is interesting. This is why Michael Dell could potentially be making a move into the Bitcoin space. Again, we're just speculating right now. This is all speculation. But what's interesting is Dell Technologies' share price as well. So check this out. So Dell Technologies' share price is up around 5x since the beginning of 2023. So again, this could be another explanation for why Michael Dell is selling so much stock. Okay, again, we're not making the claim that we're 100% certain that Michael Dell is buying Bitcoin privately. Far from it. Definitely not. We're trying to show you guys both sides of the story here. Okay, so Dell has been tweeting a lot about Bitcoin in the past week. And again, this news of Dell selling $3 billion worth of stock, the most selling ever, has coincidentally happened this week. Okay, so again, there's the more Bitcoiner side of this story, but let's not forget, he could just be simply taking some profits because his stock price is up by 500% in the past 18 months. So that could be an explanation for why we are seeing Michael Dell sell this amount of stock, okay? Which again is interesting. And while we I do want to show you guys the addresses of Mr. 100 in a second, because I think this is going to be really interesting when we try to analyze the timing of what is going on with Mr. 100. Before we get there, I just wanted to shout out our brand new Bitcoin sponsor, who of course is Rhino. Okay, so Rhino is our lead sponsor, and they're a banking solution that combines traditional finance services with the power of Bitcoin. Okay, so Rhino was created by Bitcoiners for Bitcoiners, and they can offer you guys a ton of different services. So you can buy Bitcoin on Rhino, you can sell Bitcoin on Rhino, and you can even withdraw straight to cold storage, and you can even use Rhino to pay other people with the Lightning Network, okay? One of the biggest things that has me most excited about Rhino is the fact that you can actually purchase gift cards with Rhinos, okay? So that's massive, and you can even connect to Casa for multi-signature security, okay? So again, stay tuned with everything Rhino is doing. You can download the app and visit RhinoBTC or RhinoBitcoin.com. It's gonna be linked in the description of the video today. So you can download Rhino and experience the future of Bitcoin banking. So again, we highly recommend checking out what they're doing because they're doing some really interesting things in the space. Speaking of interesting things in the space, let's talk a little bit more about Mr. 100, okay? The 11th largest Bitcoin whale. Today, they hold about 68,000 Bitcoin. And when we have a look, they've been buying a lot of Bitcoin this week, okay? I didn't actually see this, but they've been buying a lot more than 100 Bitcoin per day all week. They've actually been buying a tremendous amount of Bitcoin. So again, it's over the past week that we've been seeing Michael Dell get interested in Bitcoin. Okay, I'm sure you guys can see the numbers here, but on the 29th of June, Mr. 100 bought about 600 Bitcoin. On the 28th, they bought about 500 Bitcoin. On the 27th, only 100, the normal amount. June 26th, 200 Bitcoin. June 25, they bought 300 Bitcoin. Okay, so they've been buying a lot. They had one sell here on June 3rd for 490 Bitcoin. But overwhelmingly, they've been aggressively accumulating all this week, which again is massive and it's big. Okay, so I would love your guys' thoughts. Blow up the comments. Let me know in the chat whether you think Michael Dell's $2.9 billion of share sales will find their way into Bitcoin or not, and whether there is a possibility that he is Mr. 100. He has been selling a lot of stock recently as well, not just 2024, but also 2023. So again, we do know that Mr. 100 has been accumulating for a couple of years now. If we actually blow this Mr. 100 chart up nice and big, we can see that he's actually been accumulating for a pretty long time. Okay, if we scroll all the way down, I believe it was late 2022 or early 2023 was when Mr. 100 initially began buying Bitcoin in size and really started, aggressively accumulating. Okay, so there we can see 2022 is when the wallet kind of slowly began to become active, and he kind of started buying 100 Bitcoin a day in mid-2022, which is interesting. Okay, so that's a little bit of Mr. 100. It's a little bit on what is going on right now with Michael Dell. Michael Dell is doing some pretty interesting things in the space. I want to answer some comments in the chat, but also talk about other billionaires who I think could also potentially be Mr. 100 and who I think will be racing Michael Dell in the coming years to accumulate more and more Bitcoin. Okay, so let's not forget Mark Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg has a very big controlling vote over Facebook. Okay, very interesting. But he also has a goat named Bitcoin, okay? He also has another goat named Max, okay? So again, who knows how much Bitcoin Zuckerberg privately holds? But if we're looking at these big tech companies and trying to think about which ones might adopt Bitcoin first, it would make sense that Dell Technologies and Facebook could be the next ones that, could be most suitable to adopt Bitcoin because they have that large controlling vote over their companies, okay? They hold a lot of stock. Okay, they're in a similar boat to Michael Saylor. They do hold a lot of Bitcoin. Matthew makes an interesting comment here in the chat. He says he's bought Dell and Sony calls today. Okay, so if you did miss the news, we broke this down on a live stream earlier today. Sony, Japan's second largest company, has made a move into Bitcoin. They're creating a Bitcoin exchange, which again is interesting. We're waiting to hear more data before we really start talking about this in a big way. But again, not just Michael Dell, tech companies all around the world are beginning to wake up and realize what's going on. Speaking of tech companies, let's talk about, I'm not sure what we're going to call Dave Portnoy's company in America. He's almost like a media company, Dave Portnoy is. But he released a pretty interesting video literally a few hours ago that I thought was a little bit funny and worth playing for you guys. Let's check this one out.
Steve will do its crypto hero be another rug? I didn't know he had that. The only crypto anybody should be involved in is spelled BITCOIN. I've learned that the hard way. If you want to try to make quick bucks, do not cry to me if you get rug pulled in any crypto like I did with SafeMoon. You have to know you're probably getting rug pulled going in. It's all a Ponzi scheme, only Bitcoin. Well, Dave will do its crypto.
Dave has certainly changed his tune there. You know, he sounds like a Bitcoin maximalist. I actually saw a video of Dave on Twitter early in the week, and he was actually saying that if Bitcoin goes back into the $40,000 region, he is actually going to start buying Bitcoin for the balance sheet of Barstool Sports, a pretty successful media company in America. So again, everybody's slowly coming to that realization of Bitcoin and Bitcoin only, okay? Which is, again, this is massive. We have Sony, and maybe in the future, maybe we will see Dell Technologies embrace Bitcoin. Okay, with all that said, guys, that was a little bit more speculative and a little bit more out there. If you actually want to learn a little bit more about what the billionaires are doing and saying about Bitcoin, I'm not sure if you guys missed it or not, but Peter Thiel came out a couple of days ago with some pretty interesting comments. And he actually said he's not as bullish on Bitcoin anymore because he feels like BlackRock has captured Bitcoin. Okay, so we actually did a live stream on this yesterday. You can see the thumbnail for that one, BlackRock captured Bitcoin, ? We dived into that story, and we even showed you guys some videos of how Peter Thiel's, tone has changed surrounding digital money. So we dug up a 1999 video. We had a 2022 video, Peter Thiel at the Bitcoin Miami conference. And then we played his most recent video in 2024, where he really sounded a little bit strange. A lot of people in the live stream actually thought, hang on a minute, he's stumbling and fumbling his way through this interview with CNBC with Andrew Ross Sorkin, a famous Bitcoin critic. Why does he sound so not confident? Why is he stuttering? Why is he stumbling? We had some people in the chat actually speculate that maybe he's just spreading FUD and he was told to go out there and spread some FUD about Bitcoin. Again, that's not our opinion. That's just what some comments in the chat seem to say. Old time Graham's has an interesting comment here. It sounds like he won't be buying any more Bitcoin. It won't be at 40K again. Who knows where the price of Bitcoin is going to be? But yeah, I mean, if Dave Portnoy is bullish on Bitcoin, I think he should just buy Bitcoin today. Who knows where the price of Bitcoin is going to go in the short term? Nobody does. Anybody who tells you that, they're a liar. Okay, so again, if you do want to watch that live stream with Peter Thiel and BlackRock, we've linked it in the comments section of today's video. And as you can see, it is up on screen. You can find it on our YouTube channel. So with all that said, guys, I might keep today's live stream nice and short and sweet. And I'll let you carry on with the rest of your day. Stay tuned. We have an interesting in-person interview from BTC Prague dropping later in the week. And we're also going to be doing a few more live streams. So if you enjoyed the content, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that. And with all that said,